This one as South looking very, very pumped up, ready to get this game underway. Looks like Eric Moore is going to kick this one away for the South Wildcats as he sends a low, wobbly kick out to the near side sideline. And Kennard's going to let that one roll out of bounds. So it's going to be a penalty on South. The Elks will take over on their first possession of the ball game on their own 35-yard line. Good field position to start this game off for the Elks. And that's something that the Elks have had to their advantage all year long, is that they have had great field position. I do not remember too many times where the Elks have started fairly deep in their own end of the field, and that has helped them out all year long.
Experience technical difficulties with your hosts Dan Haug and Tyler Wolf this Monday at 4. Technical Difficulties has been the best in modern and classic rock, plus great comedy and antics. Tune in to Technical Difficulties right here on WCWT 101.5.
And Ryan Hawk has just led his offensive unit out onto the field. The Elks are going to line up on their first possession of the ball game with two wideouts, one on each side of the field, one in the backfield. That is Ray Houston wearing the number 21 as Hawk turns, hands the ball to Houston. Houston tries to find a hole right on the line of scrimmage. He's brought down for a gain of short yardage on that play, perhaps no yards on the play. It's going to bring up, I believe, a 2nd and 10 for the Elks. So Houston trying to find a hole in the offensive line, wasn't quite there, so no yardage for the Elks on that last play. And it looks like Hawk's going to line them up in the same formation once again. Looks like Kennard's on the near side. William McLean split out wide to the far side of the field. Houston still in the backfield for the Elks as Redlin goes into motion to the far side of the field. The ball given to Houston once again. Houston trying to find a hole right up the middle of the gut of the South defense. Looks like the South defense is pumped up and ready for this game as they're stopping everything the Elks are throwing at them.
This is not good for the Elks offense. They need to come out strong. They need to be the first to put points on the board. This South team is pumped up and ready to play football tonight. The Elks team, they're pumped up and ready to play football too, from what I see, but they're just not as pumped up.
That's right. Ryan Hawk has Redlin in motion to the far side of the field. Takes a snap, rolling out to the far side of the field, gives the ball to Houston. Houston trying to find some room to run to, and he's stopped behind the line of scrimmage by the South Wildcats. So that's going to bring up a loss of a few yards on the play, going to bring up a 4th and I believe about 12 for the Elks. The Elks are going to have to punt this one away for what I believe is about the first time all year the Elks have gone 4 and out on their very first possession of the game. So that is not a good start for the Elks offense. Looks like Kennard's going to punt this one away for the Elks.
It can't be good for the Elks to be starting out this way. This week and next week, big games. They're must-win situations if the Elks want a playoff bid. They're very close. All the teams in the playoff rankings, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, are all within 1 point. Actually, all within about a couple tenths of a point in taking over each other's position. Wins are very vital right now.
And Kennard's kick is a low kick bouncing out to the far side of the field, and it looks like there's a penalty flag down on the field. It's probably going to be a clip on the Elks, it looks like, from up here in the booth, and that's not going to be a good start for the Elks on the special teams unit either. That's not what they want to see when they come out, off the gun right here at the start of the ball game.
As Thomas Stevens and company, the leader of the offensive side for South, will be taking the field. Number 29, Will Caldwell, is one of their biggest players. He's going to be one to watch for at the running back position. And number 11, Chris Womack, a 6-foot, 185-pound senior, also one of their other strong players.
And I have to make a correction on myself on the last play right there. That was a clip against South. I by mistake said Centerville. So it looks like South is going to start deep in their own territory on their own 10-yard line with 10-11 remaining in this first quarter play as Thomas Stevens walks up and sets up under center as he has a man in motion to the near side of the field. Ball is handed off, and he's quickly wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Looks like by Vince Baker and A.J. Hawk also in there to make the stop for the Elks. So it looks like South's running game not getting a good start off the gun either here tonight.
I'll tell you what, this Elk defense does not want to let South score. Hawk, being a heck of a leader out there, already showing on the first play he's ready to go out and get the job done. Look for these guys to just completely shut down this South offense. That's what they really need to do.
And Thomas Stevens has 2 wideouts, one on each side of the field. It looks like number 27, Curtis Hughes, in the backfield. Stevens fires a pass out to the far side sideline, up and out of the reach of his receiver on the far sideline. Jay Kennard there to make the coverage for the Elks. Rob Brown could not pull that one down, just a little bit too far above his head.
Elks football on 101.5 is brought to you by the One Stop Auto Salon. The One Stop Auto Salon is located on State Route 48, directly behind the Women's Air and Space Museum in the heart of Centerville.
And if you would like anything as far as the looks or performance of your car to be improved, just give Matt Damron a call, 438-8023. And Stevens has one in the backfield. That is Hughes. Stevens is wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Looks like by Rob Bauman. Bauman laying a hit on Stevens before he had anything to do with that ball. So it looks like South is going to go 4 and out, just as the Elks did, but they are much deeper in their own territory. So it looks like the Elks are going to start off with a good field position once again. Nice job there by Bauman to get through the line and wrap up Stevens for a loss of a couple yards, bringing up a 4th down. 9:08 remaining in the first quarter. And this punt is up. Griffith's going to field it about the 45-yard line. Bobbles it a bit. He's hit quickly as he catches the ball, and he's brought down about the 48-yard line. Griffith looks like he lost sight of it a little bit right there, and bobbled it a bit, lost a couple of yards on the play, but did keep possession of the ball. So the Elks will start their second drive of the game on the South 48-yard line with 8:56 remaining in this first quarter.
I'm going to have to say good job there on the Elks defense to match the job of the South defense. They need to get the offensive side on the ball, or out on the field. Either team. That's what's going to matter. Who can keep their offense on the field longer? That's who's going to win this game.
That's right, as Hawk has 2 wideouts split out to the near side of the field. Houston in the backfield for the Elks. The ball faked off to Houston. Hawk looking downfield. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage by the South defense. Looks like number 49 there for the 45, excuse me, for the Wildcats. Richard Tarbutton to make the tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Going to bring him back for a loss of about 6 yards on the play. Going to bring him back 2nd and 16 for the Elks.
That hurts Hawk. He can't. I mean, that's not his fault. That they got to avoid that. They got to get rid of the ball or whatever. Hawk cannot be taking that kind of a loss. That puts him way back at 2nd and 18.
As Hawk has 2 wideouts, one each side of the field. Redlin in motion to the near side of the field. The ball given to Houston, or excuse me, he fakes the handoff, pitches out to Redlin out of the near side sideline. Redlin gets about 4 yards on the play. Still going to bring up a 3rd and 11, or 3rd and 12, excuse me, for the Elks. So the Elks are going to have to convert on a long 3rd down.
The Elks have shown that they can do this in past weeks. Not necessarily against a team this good, but the Elks have the capabilities of getting the job done and picking up these 13 yards for the first down.
That's right, and one of the things that does remain with me from last year's squad from South is they had a very, very tough defense, as they are showing that thus far in the game. As Hawk takes a snap, rolling out to the far side of the field, being rushed out of the pocket, fires a pass to Kennard on the far side. Kennard makes the catch, and he is finally brought down about the South 31-yard line. So good job there by Kennard and Hawk to find one another and make that completion. As number 49 for the Wildcats was applying very, very tough pressure on Ryan Hawk.
Be sure to listen to Big Bad Beefcakes every Monday night from 7 to 10 as Matty K and Andy make your wildest fantasies realities.
That's right, Big Bad Beefcakes. Every Monday night, 7 to 10, tune it in. We now have a new addition to the show. That's a week in the life of Kneidl. Very interesting. You're going to want to tune in to find out what it is. As Hawk has Redlin in motion to the far side of the field. Houston gives the ball right up the gut of the South defense. He's tripped up shortly after he crosses the line of scrimmage and gets a gain of about a few yards on the play for the Elks. And this South team getting it done on the defensive side of the ball, it is one of the things I just said that really sticks with me from last year's team, is that they sent everything at the Elks. They blitzed a lot, and they were sending each and every one of their linebackers and linemen at the Elks every time that Hawk got the ball. As Hawk has 2 wideouts, one on each side of the field, Houston in the backfield, as Redlin goes in motion to the near side of the field for the Elks. Hawk takes a snap, gives the ball to Houston. Houston trying to find some running room out on the near side of the field, and he's finally driven out of bounds by the Wildcat defense. There is a flag on the play. The tackle made by Michael Portis for South. We might see something like a face mask on the play against the Wildcats, and it is going to be that. It's going to be a 1st and 10 for the Elks deep into South territory.
That is good stuff for the Elks. They need that. They need to be moving the ball down. That does nothing but help them. With 6:45 left here in the first quarter, the Elks tied with South 0-0. This could be very vital for the Elks to put these first couple points on the board.
That's right. There is 6:45 remaining in this first quarter of plays. The Elks are looking to put one in the end zone against the Wildcats early on in this first quarter of play, as they are inside the red zone. Once again, the Elks have a very, very high percentage of converting on touchdowns or scoring points. Once they are inside the 20 this year, I believe it is over 80%, so their offense has got it done. However, I'd like to add that many of the Elks' touchdowns this year have come off of long plays, so, with the times they've been in there, they've gotten it done. As Hawk takes a snap, steps back in the pocket, and hands the ball to Houston. Houston finds a hole, tripped up a little bit, and he makes his way in the end zone on the near side sideline for a touchdown for the Centerville Elks. Houston looked like he was going to be stopped there. Tripped a little bit, caught his balance, found a little hole on the near side sideline, and made his way in the end zone for a touchdown for the Centerville Elks. So the Elks go up by a score of 6-0 with 6:39 remaining in this first quarter of play.
excellent job by the entire Elks offense there. That's Elks football. That's what we've been seeing all year. They absolutely just die hard want for that end zone, and every single one of those guys on the offensive side put that ball in.
That's
excellent
right.
job.
As Nugent's kick is up and good once again. Nugent having a very, very good week last week. I believe he put 8 through the uprights on extra point attempts for the turn that ball back down the field. And we're going to look for him to continue that here tonight. As Nugent is giving the signal to go ahead and punt or kick this one away to the Wildcats. He sends a nice kick way back into South territory. He's going to be caught by Portis on the 5-yard line. Portis trying to find some room on the near side of the field. Cuts back up the middle. He's quickly wrapped up by the Elks special teams. It looks like Sam blocking there and make the stop for the Elks. So the Wildcats will start with the ball on their own at 20-yard line with 6:30 remaining in this first quarter.
Maddie, as the teams are changing off the field here, boys soccer takes on their first tournament game tomorrow. They're seeded number 1. They're number 1 in the area, and they're number 5 in the state with a 9-2-5 record. 7 p.m. tomorrow night at Centerville Soccer Stadium. First game of the tournament against
Stebbins. And it should be a pretty good game, so go on out and support the Elks as they take on Stebbins. Centerville Soccer Stadium, 7 p.m. tomorrow night. As number 11 in motion, Stevens gives the ball to Caldwell. Caldwell finds some room out on the far side of the field. He has Griffith chasing him down the far side sideline. Griffith finally knocks him out of bounds, but not after he gets a gain of about 15, 16 yards on the play. He's going to get all the way out to the south 41-yard line. Caldwell, one of the more dangerous players on the south team, and he's definitely showing that early on tonight.
Caldwell, a fairly big guy, 5'11", 200 pounds. He's just, and he's quick too, no doubt about it. He moves very fast, and that's one thing the Elk team does not have is a whole lot of speed. They're conditioned, they can run all night, not run fast necessarily though, so that can hurt the Elks.
As Stevens takes a snap, takes it off, decides to keep himself, and breaks out to the far side of the field and gets about 8 yards on the play. Stevens finally knocked down by Tamaska out on the far side sideline. Stevens is one of those players that's just a pure athlete, has the quickness, the speed, the size. Doesn't necessarily have all the strength in the world, but he is a quick guy and he'll make up through his speed. So, I mean, one of the better athletes the Elks are going to face all season long.
You know, back to Will Caldwell, he's got 628 yards so far on the season.
As the ball is handed up right up the middle of the Elk defense to Curtis Hughes. Hughes finally dragged down by the Elk defense, but not after he got enough to get into Elk territory and get enough for the first down. So South's going to move the chains once again and bring it all the way to the Centerville 39-yard line.
Hughes also a threat from the Springfield South team. He's racking up 581 yards so far this year. That's always kind of important for a team to have, is to have 2 strong running backs, being able to mix the ball up a bit. We have our big strong Ray Houston. He's running over 1,000 yards so far this season. I mean, we've got some guys, but nothing that, not of equal caliber.
As Stevens takes a snap, rolling out to the near side of the field, and throws a pass up the near side side, going to be just out of the reach of number 11, Chris Womack. And Stevens knocked down after he let that one go by the Elk defense. As A.J. Hawk landed a little tough hit there on Thomas Stevens. And A.J., what can you say about that kid? Only a freshman, and he's already impacting the Elks squad out there so far in the season.
I've never seen a leader out of a freshman like that. So far, it's 5 Defensive Player of the Weeks. The kid is just an outstanding football player. As long as he keeps growing and stays healthy, he's going to be an awesome football player.
That's right. As Stevens has one wide out, split out wide to the far side of the field. Caldwell going in motion to the far side of the field. And Stevens decides to keep himself. He's wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage by the Elk defense. Dan Braner there to bring him down, and Chris Mitchell with a little bit of help there to bring Stevens down behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 4 yards on the play. So the Elk defense getting it done here tonight.
Dan Brainer stepping it up, getting the job done. Didn't have a real good week last week. A couple weeks before that, he laid on some heavy hits, got a couple sacks. Didn't see much out of him last week. He was really upset. I talked to him the Saturday after last week's game. Wasn't real proud of his performance in the game. Said he was going to come out stronger and play better tonight. He's already showed that already.
That's right. Getting one tackle behind the line of scrimmage. As Stevens has 2 wideouts split out wide on the near side of the field. Takes a snap, rolling out to the near side of the field, looking to pass upfield. Decides to keep himself, and he's running up the near side of the field. He's going to be chased by Sam Block and J.D. Kennard. Kennard finally drags him out of bounds at the Elk 29-yard line. That could be enough for the first down. We're going to have to see how the official's going to spot this one on the field.
4:28 left here in the clock in the first quarter. Centerville Elks up 7-0 over Springfield South. We're still waiting on the official call from the referees here to see where the ball will be placed.
And the officials are going to call a timeout here And while they're bringing the chains out on the field to see if South got the first down, I'd like to talk about A.J. Hawk, all right? He's a freshman out there. He's already starting for this Elk squad, who are one of the better teams here in the state. They're ranked 12th in the state. They're 6th in the region. I'd like to remind you that the teams that are the few spots ahead of them are only 0.7 of a point ahead in the computer system points ranking, so that's not much difference right there. But A.J. Hawk has stepped up his play so much to lead this Elks team. He has a chance this year to go all WOL in his freshman year. I mean, that's something that I've never heard of at the varsity level of football here, especially in the WOL. It's always been a tough league, and you never see that kind of thing out of a freshman.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see more than all WOL. I wouldn't be surprised if you see the all area and maybe an all region out of A.J. Hawk. The kid's an excellent player. I'm proud to be calling the games that he's doing. He's going to be a name to listen for in the future.
That's right, as Stevens brings his team back up to the line of scrimmage and gives the ball to Womack. Womack trying to find some room to run to, has nowhere to go as he's wrapped up by Sam Block on the line of scrimmage. Clayton Spence back in the lineup this week, also laying a hit there on Womack. Looks like South's offensive unit right there is a little bit confused as the runners have no holes to run to. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 10 for the Wildcats with 4 minutes remaining in this first quarter.
As you're saying, Clayton Spence back in the lineup tonight. It's a good thing to have some of these seniors back. I know Terry Tamaska played the last couple weeks, but in a lot of pain, hasn't been back. He's playing a lot more tonight. Clayton Spence is back playing tonight after being off in an injury. It's good to have some of this senior leadership back.
That's right, as Stevens passes over the middle of the field to Caldwell, a wide open Caldwell. Caldwell's going to find the end zone for the Wildcats. Caldwell had nobody within 10 yards of him, standing about the 10-yard line. Stevens showing some good poise back in the pocket, dropped back and saw him open at about the 10-yard line. Caldwell had a nice easy trot into the end zone. A little bit of a mistake right there by the Centerville Elks defense as they wanted to try and eliminate those kind of things coming into this week's game.
Yeah, this Elk team must be freaking out there on the sidelines. I know it's still early, but right now and so far in this season for the Elks against the WOL, we'd have been up 21, 28 to nothing.
They're gonna try.
And it looks like South is going to try for 2. They have quite an odd formation right there as they snap the ball back to Stevens. Stevens pitches out to Caldwell. He's going to get into the end zone on the far sideline for the 2-point conversion for South. So kind of an odd lineup right there as South had all their linemen pushed to the near side of the field. Only Stevens and Caldwell. Eric Moore going to kick this one away for the Wildcats as Kennard and Redlin wait anxiously for this kick. It's going to be a nice kick, driving Kennard all the way back to the Elk 5-yard line. He's going to field it there, try and break out to the near side sideline. Cuts back up to the middle. He's met there by the South defense, and he is still on his feet. He's finally brought down about the 30-yard line. Kennard looked like he was about done for that play, but managed to stay on his feet, avoid a couple tackles here and there, and make his way all the way out to the 30-yard line. So the Elks tonight have not started inside the 30-yard line in their own territory tonight.
That good job by J.D. Kennard there to show never give up. He was surrounded by South players, driving and striving to get that extra yard. I mean, in this kind of a game, that every little bit counts, and I hope to see that of this Elks offense on this drive. They need to get in the end zone.
That's right, as Houston alone back for the Elks. 3 wideouts for the Elks as Hawk hands the ball off to Houston. Houston tried to take it right up to go to the Wildcat defense, not getting very much yardage on the play. He's probably going to get about 2 yards on the play. Going to bring up a 2nd and 8 for the Elks with 3:22 remaining in this first quarter.
Elks football on 101.5 is brought to you by the One Stop Auto Salon. The One Stop Auto Salon is located on State Route 48, directly behind the Women's Air and Space Museum in the heart of Centerville. Call One Stop Auto Salon at 438-8023.
As Hawk has 2 wideouts split out to the far side of the field. Ray Houston in the backfield for the Elks. Hawk turns, fakes a pass to, or handoff to Houston. He's rolling out to the far side of the field. Fires a pass down the sideline to Kennard. Looks like Kennard got that catch, and the officials are going to signal that a completion downfield. Kennard just inside South territory. So good job there by Kennard to keep his feet in bounds and make the catch as he was falling out of bounds. Not a bad job there by Hawk to avoid the pressure and finally make that pass downfield.
That was a great job by Hawk. He had number 51 in his face the whole time. Good job by Hawk to keep his composure, get the ball in there, especially in such a tight situation, to put it that close to the sidelines.
And it looks like Hawk's going to have 2 wideouts split out to the near side of the field. I believe that's J.D. Kennard and Willie McLean. Number 21, Ray Houston, alone back for the Elks. Hawk fakes a handoff, looking downfield to pass, and he does to the near side sideline. It's going to be Kennard to make the catch. It's going to be just enough for the first down as he is finally wrestled down to the turf. and he's going to be just inside the south 40-yard line. So the Elks passing game getting it done here tonight. Hawk completing 2 passes on this drive downfield to J.D. Kennard. That's going to move the chains once again for the Elks, as there's only 2:35 remaining in this first quarter.
So, like, if you want to say something, just like say you want to say flag, just say flag, or
the Elks varsity soccer team
something like say it was a player. Don't
at home at 7 p.m.
Still go
second game of the tournament for the Elks, so go out and support them at 7 p.m.
Because I can't hear, and it's not that I'm ignoring you, I just can't hear you.
He gives the ball to Houston. Houston tries to go right up the gut of the south defense, and he gets just enough for the first down. So Houston showing the never give up attitude that Chip and I talk about so much. Just showing that right there, just busting up the middle and getting every yard he can, moving the chains for the Elks.
That's what they need. They need to move this ball. They need to eat up some clock. They need to get the ball in the end zone. They need to get scored some points on the board. As right now they're down for the first time in a long time to any team, and they just need to step it up and get the job done.
As Hawk has 2 wideouts, one on each side of the field. Frankie Robbins on the near side, J.D. Kennard on the far side. Hawk hands the ball off to Redlin. Redlin trying to find some room to run to, and he's tripped up there by the south defense. Looks like Michael Portis to make the tackle for the Wildcats, but not after he gets a gain of about 40 yards on the play for the Elks.
Yeah, Matty, I just, talking about this never give up attitude of the Elks. Houston showing it tonight. We need to see it out of Hawk. Hawk just showed a lot of never give up attitude. He pretty much could have laid down and died because number 51 was a lot bigger than him, but he got the pass off. Elks need to show this all night, or they're not going to win this game.
And Hawks going to have Houston in the backfield. Looks like Carpenter going to go into motion as the ball's given up to Houston right at the gut of the south defense. He's going to get probably just enough for the first down for the Elks. Not sure where the official's going to spot this one just yet. I believe that's going to bring up a 3rd down, actually, as Houston got just inside the 20-yard line of south with 1:09 remaining in this first quarter.
Elks football on 101.5 is brought to you by the One Stop Auto Salon. The One Stop Auto Salon is located on State Route 48, directly behind the Women's Air and Space Museum.
And William McLean in the ball game for the Elks, replacing number 82 Frankie Robbins, as Hawk has Kennard and William McLean split out wide on each side of the field. And Hawk's going to take this one to south, trying to cut right back up the middle of the field. And he's going to get just enough for the first down for the Centerville Elks. So as time winds down here in the first quarter, the Elks are down by a score of 8-7. They're looking to drive this one into the end zone late in the first quarter, as Hawk just moved the chains for the Elks once again with a nice run right up the middle of the south defense. So we're going to be looking for the Elks to punch this one in.
Don't forget to join Bucky and Friends this Tuesday from 4 to 7 for the best modern and classic rock, plus the latest news from our reliable resource, the Weekly World News. It's only on 101.5 WCWT.
And Hawk has 1 wide out on each side of the field. McLean on the far side, Kennard on the near side. Redlin in motion. Redlin's going to take the snap, cut right back up the middle of the south defense, and he was refusing to go down right there. Got a gain of about 5 yards on the play. Redlin getting, ripped that, torn that from every angle, refusing to go down, refusing to let go of that ball, and finally got about 5 yards. Gets up, he's limping a little bit out on the field. Hopefully he's going to be all right, because the Elks will need him here tonight.
Exactly. They need every single one of the players on the field right now. That's going to bring an end to the first quarter.
You are listening to Centerville Elks football, brought to you by the One Stop Auto Salon, right here at the 10-yard line with a 2nd and 4, with 12 minutes remaining in this second quarter.
The nice thing that the Elks have, which we haven't had to use the threat too much this year, but we have a kicking game. We get inside, that red zone. We can kick the field goal if we have to. We have some strong kickers.
As it looks like Hawk's going to give the ball up the middle of the field to Redlin, as he gets a gain of about a yard or 2 on the play. Not much more. Hawk had me faked out, thinking he was going to roll out to the near side of the field, but the south defense all over that one, stopping Redlin after a gain of about a yard on the play. And if you happen to be on the World Wide Web at any time, we would encourage you to check out elksfootball.com. It is a website completely dedicated to Centerville Elks football here on the Beef, and not here on the Beef, the Centerville Elks football program. It's a very fine website. I encourage you to check it out. As Carpenter is going to be in motion to the near side of the field, and Hawk rolling out, fires a pass on the near side sideline, in and out of the hands of Josh Carpenter, and looks like number 24 right there on the coverage for the Wildcats, Jermaine Portis, as he broke that pass up. Hawk had Carpenter open on the near side of the field, just couldn't get it to him.
Portis making an excellent dive to knock that ball out. Now the Elks are going to have to use what I just got done talking about, their kicking threat. Nugent, an excellent kicker, should be able to put these up for 3 points.
And a bit of a high snap, but Nugent still gets this one off, and it's going to be up and through the uprights. So the Elks are going to go up by a score of 10-8. Early on in this second quarter of play, the Elks could not get that one in the end zone. I believe that is the second time all year. The 16 remaining in this first half of play. Nugent's going to line up to kick this one away to the Wildcats. Back to receive it are Chris Womack and Brown, and Brown driven deep back into his own territory. Catches the ball on about the goal line. Brown cutting out to the far side of the field, looking for some running room. Going to try and cut back up the middle of the field. He's going to be met there by number 78 for the Centerville Elks. It is going to be Nick Kapuska. Kapuska was reading that play all the way and anticipating him cutting back over the middle of the field. Kapuska there to make the hit deep into South territory.
Big night for the third grade gold football cheerleaders. They're out there. I know this is a big thing for these girls. Every night they get to come out here. Every Friday night they bring out a different squad. They get to cheer in front of them. Carolyn Allen, Katie Barnett, Elizabeth Bastian, Sydney Bauer, Tess Berkeley, Stephanie Edwards, Mandy Girk, Dina Garrity, Allison Lucan, Kristen Liakos, Kelsey McCucci, Caroline Miller, Lisa Schiefer, Catherine Wagner, and Jordan Watchros. We had so much problem with these names. I'm sorry, girls. We're really trying. Maddie and I debated over this all night. Who was going to say it? I get stuck with it. I butchered your names. I'm sure. I'm sorry. But congratulations. I know this is a big thing for you guys to get out there and cheer in front of all these fans.
As the first play from the line of scrimmage for South in the second quarter of play going to be whistled dead. Going to bring up a first down and 10 for South with 11 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in this first half of play. Stevens has won the backfield as Womack goes in motion. The ball handed off to Hughes. Hughes finds a hole in the offensive line and is finally brought down by the Elk defense after he crosses the 25-yard line. Going to be good for a gain of about 6 yards on the play. Going to bring up a second and 3 for the South Wildcats.
This would be a great chance for the Elk defense to step it up, get the job done, shut them down, put the Elk offense back in wonderful field position, or even to pick up the lucky play. Go in there, make the sack, push the ball back farther, pick up a fumble, strip the ball. The Elk defense have shown that they can dominate, pick up the ball, get the touchdown if they have to, intercept the ball.
As Stevens decides to keep it himself, breaks out to the far side. He fumbles the ball on the far side sideline. It's going to be recovered by Chris Womack, I believe, on the far side sideline. No word from the officials just yet. And it's going to be a first down for South. Stevens hit hard there by the Elk defense. Coughed up the ball, but Chris Womack there to dive on that and cover it up. It's going to bring up a first down for South. And as Chip was saying just a second ago, that this Elk defense has shown that they can play. And not only that they can play, but they can score. They've done that in the last couple of weeks. A.J. Hawks sacking Ty Myers in the end zone last week for the Elk defense, only score of the night. But this Elk defense has the potential to score. As Hughes in the backfield for the Wildcats. Stevens takes a snap, rolling out to the near side of the field, looking downfield, passes to the near side of the sideline. Could be caught by Rob Brown on the 40-yard line, and that's going to be just shy of the first down marker. Quite an athletic leap there by Brown to haul that one in from Stevens.
Brings up a 2nd and 1 with 9:45, top clock ticking away here. Your Centerville Elks are up 10-8 over Springfield South. It is a close game so far, Matt. We're in for an exciting one. For, the first exciting game since the Troy game. And I'm actually enjoying it. It's going to be a lot better to call tonight. It's going to be a lot better to listen to and sit out here and watch. We've been used to these blowouts the last couple of weeks. I'm excited for a big game.
That's right, as Stevens has Hughes in the backfield, one wide on each side of the field. Stevens turns and fakes a handoff to Caldwell, decides to keep himself, breaks up field on the far side of the field, has a lot of room to run to, being chased out of bounds there by Griffith, cuts back in the middle of the field, and finally brought down by Sam Block. There's going to be a flag down on the play, however, we're going to have to see if this run's going to stand. Stevens not doing a bad job using his athletic skill to break down field with that speed and getting more yardage than needed for the first down.
No sign yet from the officials on
and it's going to be a face mask against the Elks, so going to move South further into Elk territory with a 1st and 10 with 9 minutes and 7 seconds remaining. If you're at home listening to this game, I encourage you to come out and support the Elks, because this is going to be quite a game. And if you really want to listen to us, you can also bring your headset and you can catch all the play-by-play while you're watching the game, just in case you miss something.
Exactly.
So, come on out and support the Elks here tonight.
The Elks, that hurts the Elks. The penalties we've talked about in the past weeks, these little mistakes is what was going to hurt the Elks in this game and next week's game against Wayne. They need to play perfect football in order to win these games.
Stevens takes a snap, lobs a pass on the far side of the field. Going to be bobbled by Caldwell. Caldwell finally brings it in. It's going to be a touchdown for the South Wildcats on the far side of the field. Clayton Spence on the coverage for the Elks. Caldwell making quite, I don't know if I should say acrobatic, quite a skilled catch there, keeping his eye on the ball the whole time. Bobbled it 3 or 4 times before he finally brought it in and dove in the end zone for the score for the Wildcats. So the Wildcats are going to go up 14-10 over the Centerville Elks with 8:38 remaining in this first half of play.
You're right, the first time there, Maddie, Terry Tamaska on the coverage, and once again this Springfield team is going to come out with a little bit of an odd setup on the play, and there's now a flag on the play.
And no word from the officials just yet as of what that is. South, though, coming out with this odd-looking formation. All their linemen pushed out to the far side of the field with Womack, Stevens, and Brown out on the near side of the field. And Stevens running over the sideline to discuss this one with the coaches. They might change their minds about going for the 2-point conversion on this one because they have been pushed back a few yards due to an encroachment call.
Back to what I was saying about Terry Tamaska. He was all over the coverage there. He just really didn't seem to be paying attention that the ball was coming around.
It looks like South is going to go for it once again. Stevens takes a snap, looking to the near side of the field, passes, and it's going to be out of the reach of Rob Brown. Good coverage there by Kennard for the Centerville Elks. So a failed 2-point conversion attempt against South in the past 3 years. So it looks like Kennard and Redlin, Griffith and Kennard and Redlin back to receive this one for the Elks. Redlin feels about the 8-yard line. Redlin cutting out for the far side of the field, looking for some room to run to. Still on his feet on the far side sideline. As one man to beat, tries to cut back up, and he is driven out of bounds by the South special team. Looked like Chris Womack out there, driving out of bounds about the South 46-yard line. Nice job there by Redlin to make something out of that kick return.
Exactly, and hopefully that's going to bring the Elk offense out, get them a little excited, get them ready to put this ball in the end zone. They need to move down. Ryan Hawk staying composed tonight, and doesn't seem to be too nervous. He's staying in the leadership position, getting the job done, not getting too stressed out, but keeps on moving things on.
And Ryan Hawk and company coming out on the field here, as Ryan's going to have 2 wideouts on the near side of the field, 2 wideouts split out on the far side of the field. Ray Houston alone back for the Elks. Wearing number 21, Hawk has Carpenter in motion in the near side of the field, takes a snap, takes a handoff to Houston. He's looking downfield. He fires a pass out of the near side of the field. McLean going to be just out of the reach over the head of number 10, Nick Redlin. Looked like it was going to go out there to William McLean. My depth perception was a bit off there, so it was intended for Nick Redlin to be just out of the reach as Hawk let a bomb fly downfield, and Redlin could not bring that one in.
It was an excellent pass by Hawk, just way over the heads of both of our receivers. I was missed a little bit, got the wrong conception of that too. I thought it was going to McLean, but it ended up being a little bit shorter than that. But really good pass by Hawk.
As Carpenter in motion, Hawk fakes a handoff. And no, actually gives the ball to Carpenter, and Carpenter finds some yardage right up the gut of the South defense right there. Good for a gain of about 5 yards on the play. Going to bring up a 3rd and 5 for the Elks with 8:07 as time continues to tick off the clock here in the first half of play.
Elks football on 101.5 is brought to you by the One Stop Auto Salon. The One Stop Auto Salon is located on State Route 48, directly behind the Women's Air and Space Museum in the heart of Centerville. Contact the One Stop Auto Salon at 438-8023. That's 438-8023.
As Hawk has Carpenter in motion to the far side of the field, takes a snap, looking back, fakes a handoff, looking down the field, near side top, fires a pass out of the reach of, I believe that's number 45, or excuse me, number 10, Nick Redlin, out on the near side sideline. Redlin couldn't quite get to that one. Hawk had him open, just underthrown, not quite enough on that one to get the job done for the Elks. As it looks like the Elks are going to have to punt this one away. Kennard's going to come out on the field to punt this one away for the Elks. Not something the Elks are used to doing early on in the game.
That's unfortunate for the Elks. They had excellent field position, came off with a great run back by Redlin. Nick going out there, getting everybody pumped up. They took the field, just couldn't make anything of it.
As Kennard's kick is almost blocked, there's going to be a flag down on the play. His punt's going to sail all the way down to the south 1-yard line, and the Elk special team unit trying to keep that one in bounds. And it's going to bounce out of bounds at the 2-yard line, except there is a penalty marker down on the again. Kennard letting go a good kick right there. The Elks, right now that's not a sign. That's not something that they want. That penalty brought that kick back. That was a very, very good kick. Rolled out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Would have given South the ball way into their territory. But Kennard's going to try and make something out of this one again, as he's going to punt this one away from about their own 45-yard line.
The Elks really need to start watching it. You know, they came out kind of weak. We're moving along through this game here. We're almost at the halfway point, and they need to step it up. And if they're going to start playing football, they better start now. This South team has shown that they can play with them, and they'll play with them all night.
And Kennard's going to let loose another good kick. Going to be a little shorter than the last one. Going to be fielded by Michael Portis out on the far side sideline, about the 12-yard line, signaling for the fair catch. So the South Wildcats get to tack on about 10 yards to their starting point of this next drive with 7:20 remaining. The Elks are down by a score of 14-10 to the South Wildcats here tonight. And this is one of the biggest games of the year for the Elks.
Do you want to win prizes on the radio? Sure you do. Everybody enjoys getting free stuff. Marissa and Allison give away tons of prizes every Monday between 3 and 4. All you have to do is listen to Monday Madness on WCWT for your chance to win fantastic prizes donated by Dingleberries. It's only on 101.5 WCWT.
Ball given off to Huey Hughes, trying to find some room on the offensive line, getting nowhere. Drop behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of a yard on the play. Going to bring up a 2nd and 11 for the Wildcats. Hughes trying to find some room, had nowhere to go to. And just in case you're out on the internet looking around trying to find something to do, why don't you check out elksfootball.com. Elksfootball.com is a website totally dedicated to the Centerville Elks football program. I believe that is, I think it's pretty safe to say that's probably unique here to Centerville High School. It's a great website. It hooks you up with all kind of info, stats, anything you want to know about the Centerville Elks football team. That's elksfootball.com. And as Caldwell goes into motion, Stevens fakes the handoff to Hughes, pitches out to Caldwell on the near side of the field. Caldwell trying to find some room on the sideline. He's wrapped up by Sam Blocker and dragged down at about the 28-yard line, but that's not going to be enough to stop him from not getting the first down. So the Wildcats are going to move the chains once again with 6:48 remaining in this first half.
It'd be wonderful if the Elks offense could get the ball back in their hands before the end of the first half here. They really need to take a lead into the second half. I don't want to see the drive and momentum of this Elks team drop off at any. The Elks defense staying pumped up. They're just going up against a strong offense, one of the strongest ones they've seen.
That's right. As Stevens takes the snap, fakes the handoff, and sidescaping himself, cuts back up the middle of the field. Avoids one tackler, and he's finally tripped up by the Elk defense. Jason Griffith tripping up Stevens, but I believe Stevens got enough for the first down, just getting past the first down marker.
Brings up 6:24, clock stop for just a few moments here to move down the chains. Your Centerville Elks are down to Springfield South, 14-10, and that's not an error. The Elks are down, and if you're just tuning in to the game, it's South's playing some tough football, and the Elks are playing with them, but not any better than them.
As Womack in motion to the far side of the field, the ball given to Caldwell. Caldwell trying to find some room, breaks one tackler, and he's finally tripped up there by the Elk defense. Looks like number 34, A.J. Hawk, to make the stop for the Elks. There's going to be a penalty flag down on the field. Not sure just yet what the infraction was.
It was 0-0.
Looks to be on South. It was in the South backfield. You get a call from the official here.
And that's going to be against the Wildcats. They're going to bring up a first, and I believe about 15 for the Wildcats, with 5:56 remaining in this first half of play. Not something the Wildcats want to see. The Elks kind of cut a break right there, getting that penalty, driving the Wildcats further back into their own territory. So we're going to see it. We're going to have to see how this Elks team is going to handle that. As Curtis uses the lone back for the Wildcats, split out wide to the near side of the field, number 6, Rob Brown. And this play is going to be whistled dead before it even gets underway. Looked like to me that Will Caldwell on the far side of the field went a little bit early. No word from the officials just yet. And offsides on Springfield South. I believe that was Caldwell. Caldwell took off just a bit early for the snap of the ball. And that's going to move the Wildcats even deeper back in their own territory.
Brings up a 1st and 20 for Springfield South. Elks catching 2 big breaks in a row there, pushing South back on their penalties. Excellent thing for the Elks. They need to get the ball back in some good territory.
That's right. It's Caldwell going into motion to the near side of the field for the Wildcats. Stevens takes the snap, looking downfield to pass. He throws a little swing pass to Brown. Brown avoids one tackler, breaking out to the far side of the field. And Clayton Spence there, driving him out of bounds. Not quite out of bounds, but he brings him down just as he gets to the original line of scrimmage. Looks like quite a hit there was laid on Terry Tamaska, as many of the fans here thought that should have been some sort of a penalty. Tamaska looked like he was taken down from behind, but no call from the officials.
A lot of the coaches upset on that play. You hear some screaming and yelling. Those coaches are really upset. There was a lot of times that that ball or that play should have been broken up real quick, should have ended, but it didn't. It was just a couple mistakes there on the Elk defense, but that's all right. There's still a 2nd and 10 situation for the Springfield South. The Elks caught that big break with those penalties.
And Caldwell going in motion for the Wildcats. Ball given to Hughes. Hughes wrapped up quickly as he crossed the line of scrimmage by the Centerville Elk defense. Everyone there to make the stop for the Elks, as Curtis Hughes, one of the more effective running backs for the Wildcats, not getting much yardage on that last play.
Make sure you stay tuned here in just a few minutes to the One Stop Auto Salon halftime show with Adam Kiefaber and the coach Jason Mitchell. Talking to Coach this afternoon, he a little wound up about this game. In fact, we'd even talked about him sticking up in the booth here for a little bit. He said that was not going to happen. He's too wound up. He's going to be on the sidelines. But he will be up here for half to give you some stats, analysis, some game summaries. So stay tuned for that.
And it's going to be a pass out of the near side sideline to number 6, Rob Brown, and the officials are going to signal that one a good catch. So Stevens dropped back in the pocket, looking out the near side sideline, completing that pass to Rob Brown. Brown making a nice catch, keeping his feet in bounds as he was falling out of bounds. Going to move the chains once again for South. The Elks could have used the stop on the defensive side of the ball right there.
That not taking advantage of a good situation there, the Elks defense. They had a 1st and 20 situation, a 2nd and 10, and they just are giving up almost on this drive. South running all over the Elk defense right now.
As Stevens has won the backfield, it is Caldwell, fakes the handoff, rolling out to the far side of the field, sideskip himself, tries to cut back up the middle of the field, and the Elk defense there to wrap him up. And after a gain of about 4 yards on the play, coming into tonight's game, both sides knowing that tonight would be an offensive, shall I say, spectacle, because both teams coming into the night with a very high-powered offense, and the momentum from the last couple of games just carrying into this one, as both teams just, getting it done on the offensive side of the ball in previous weeks.
The Elks so far this season have averaged 65 points per game, as South has averaged 47.5 points per game. That's a lot of points for high school football.
As Stevens takes a snap, rolling out to the far side of the field, he's tripped up behind the line of scrimmage by the Elk defense. I cannot see who the tackle. I believe that was Griffith making the tackle on Stevens out on the far side of the field. And nice job there by the Elk defense to bring up a 3rd and 6 with 2:52 remaining in this first half.
The Elk defense needs to step it up. 3rd and 5, they need to shut them down. They need to get the ball punted away, to get the ball back on offensive side for the Elks. They need to get some points in here. Just 2:37 left here, the clock ticking away. That's not much time. The Elks can do it.
That's right, the Elks have shown that in weeks past. This ball is pitched to Caldwell. Caldwell hands that one off to Brown. Brown going out to the far side of the field. Finds some room on the far side of the sideline. Gets enough for the first down. Finally tripped up and dragged out of bounds at the Centerville Elk 35-yard line. A little bit of a reverse there from the Wildcats, as Caldwell looked like he was breaking out the near side of the field. Handed that one off to Brown for a first down.
This South team pulling out some odd plays left and right. Just confusing this Elk defense. They pulled off an odd one on the special teams side for their 2-point conversion. Pulling off a reverse there. Not an odd play, but it's not something you see ordinarily. This Elk defense is very confused by this.
And Thomas Stevens has one wide out on the near side of the field. That is Rob Brown wearing the number 6. Curtis Hughes in the backfield. Stevens fakes a handoff, lofts the pass up the near side of the field. It's got Brown, and Brown's going to haul that one in, and they're going to signal that one at completion just shy of the goal line. Brown falling in the end zone as he made that grab. Kennard on the coverage for the Elks could not quite get to it. Brown had to been a step or two on Kennard and hauled in that pass right on the goal line.
That one is really close. They're just going to need a few inches to put that ball in, and I can pretty much say that's a safe bet that the South's going to put another touchdown on the board. Kills the Elks. Absolutely kills the Elks. They cannot be down by more than one score. Really hurts them.
That's right, as South's going to line up. Caldwell in motion. Ball hand off to Hughes. Hughes just trotting in the end zone for a score for the Springfield South Wildcats. Curtis Hughes has a huge hole on the near side of the field, makes his way in the end zone, so the Elks are going to go down by a score of 20-10 with 1:42 remaining in this first half of play. Centerville Elks squad has got to get back on the board before they go in that locker room at halftime. I've said it time and time again. They're going to have to take some momentum into the locker room at halftime so they can come out and start this second half off right. The Elks not known for their strong play in the second half. They have played fairly strong here and there, but in the first couple WL games they did slip up here and there and didn't play as effectively as they did in the first half. And looks like South is going to line up for the two-point conversion once again with their lineman customer. I've been there many times myself, so I know from experience it's a fine organization running right out of the heart of Centerville. As Stevens takes a snap, rolling out, then passes. It's going to be broken up there by A.J. Hawk. Hawk getting his hand up and breaking that pass up, so Chris Womack couldn't even have a chance to think to bring that in. And so the Elks do stop the Wildcats on this third two-point conversion attempt, as there was only Hawk. And boy doesn't say too much on his own. Quite a quiet kid, but quite the athlete. Gets things done. As South's going to kick this one away deep. Redlin's going to feel that about the Centerville 10-yard line. And looking for some room out on the near side of the field. Tries to cut back on the middle and hit hard there by the South defense. Driven off his feet there by number 49, Ian Watley. Laying quite a hit there on Redlin. Redlin didn't quite see it coming. It was kind of a blindside hit, but definitely put Redlin down into the turf.
That gives the Elks offense a fairly decent field position, but not very good for the time that they've got. They got a minute 35 to work with here, and they could be hurting here.
And Ryan Hawk leads his unit back out on the field, and ball handed off the middle of the field to Ray Huston. Huston finally muscled down after a gain of about 7 yards on the play. Going to bring up a second and through with a minute 26 as time continues to tick off the clock here tonight in the first half of play. The Elks could use a score here before they go in the locker room. They have shown that they can score in a very short amount of time, and they're going to try and do it here tonight. As Hawk takes a snap, rolling out to the far side of the field, looking downfield for someone to pass to, does out to Kennard on the far side sideline, and he's finally dragged out of bounds right at midfield. Going to move the chains for the Elks, and he's going to stop the clock because he did get out of bounds on the play.
I know the Elks practice every day in their practice. There's not a practice that goes by that they do not practice 2-minute drill. That is a very big key to Elk offense. They want to make sure that the boys know how to do it, that they're not put under pressure, especially guys like, with Ryan and JD. They got to move that ball down there. They got to make sure they can get out of bounds.
And Redlin in motion to the far side of the field for the Elks. Hawk drops way back in the pocket, looking out to the far side of the field, fires a pass, going to be in and out of the hands of Willie McLean. However, many flags down on the field. Could be some sort of a pass interference on the play. McLean kind of got twisted around there on the play, almost pulled in the catch for the Elks. Jermaine Portis on the coverage for the Wildcats, and could be a pass interference, and it is going to be, so it's going to move the Elks way into Springfield South territory. That Elks really needed that. Now they have to capitalize on this mistake from the South Wildcats.
That is completely amazing that the Elks picked that up. That's exactly what they needed. That ball was just in and out of the hands of Willie McLean. Excellent pass by Ryan Hawk, but they definitely lucked out. They got the penalty, picked up.
As Hawk is driven back behind the line of scrimmage, going to be dropped for a loss of about 9 yards on the play. James DeWaldler, excuse me, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to butcher that name up. DeWaldler with the tackle, along with the many others.
That they're winning 70-0 by the halftime. But Mitchell brings a good perspective up here to the box.
That's right, as the Elks are lined up with 3 wideouts here on the near side, 1 on the far side. Hawk has Huston in the backfield. Hawk dropping back in the pocket, being pressured, fires out of the near side of the field to Redlin. Redlin hauls that one in, trying to get out of bounds, doesn't quite get it, but gets back to the original line of scrimmage. The clock's going to continue to tick away as Hawk's trying to get the offensive line back up to the ball so he can try and get another play out before the end of the half here. Hawk's going to step back in the pocket, rolling out to the far side of the field, looking downfield, fires a pass out to Kennard. Kennard's going to make the grab, and the official's going to signal that one incomplete. So with 13 seconds remaining, the Elks are going to be faced with a, I believe, 4th and 10 right there. And it looks like they're going to go for it, trying to get something together here before they go in the locker room. As the Elks are going to have 3 wideouts, 2 on the far side, Carpenter and Kennard, along with McLean on the near side of the field. And Huston in the backfield for the Elks. Hawk dropping back in the pocket, rolling out to the far side of the field, looking for someone to pass to. knocked down as he lets go of that ball. It's going to be an incomplete pass and a turnover on downs for the Elks. So the Wildcats are going to take over the 1st and 10 with 6 seconds remaining in this first half. The Elks, not what they wanted when they came out into this game, looking for something a little bit different, as they have been, I believe, ahead of it at every game so far in the season during halftime. And they have not been getting it done as they have all year long here tonight.
Elks defense needs to watch for the big play right here. South has nothing to lose but to run some oddball play to put this ball in the end zone.
That's right, and kind of looks like Steve's just going to take it and nail it, and he does. So, at the end of the first half of play, your Centerville Elks are down by a score of 20-10. You are listening to Centerville Elks football, brought to you by the One Stop Auto Salon here on 101.5 WCWT.
All right. Bye.
And so this is really a battle between two high-powered offenses, and this is gonna. I think the team that's going to win this one is going to. It's going to be determined on how well that defense can hold up against that offense. And the Elks are going to kick this one away to the Wildcats to start this one off. Rob Brown and Michael Portis back to receive this for the Wildcats, and it looks like Nugent's going to throw a little onside kick, dives on the ball himself. And the Elks are going to come up with that one. Nice job there by Nugent to send a nice little onside kick and win it as much yardage as it needed to. And he dove on that one himself. So Nugent, a nice heads-up play to give the Elks the ball to start this second half of play. The Elks are down by a score of 20-10. They start with a 1st and 10 right in South territory at the South 48-yard line. Ryan Hawk and company and trots out onto the field. He has 3 wideouts, 2 on the near side, 1 on the far side. William McClain and Nick Redlin on the near side of the field. J.D. Kennard on the far side of the field. As Carpenter goes into motion, Hawk turns, hands the ball off to Houston. Houston trying to find the room on the offensive line and does not have a lot of room to work with right there. However, he does get a couple yards on the play. Going to bring up a 2nd and 8 for the Elks with 11:46 remaining in this third quarter play. We're going to look for the Elks to try and start something with their passing game. Or excuse me, their running game here tonight, not quite as consistent as it has been in the previous couple of weeks. We're going to look for them to use the ground game a little bit more, try and open up some more holes for Ray Houston to run through. As Carpenter goes in motion to the far side of the field, and Hawk fakes a handoff, and he fires a pass out of the near side sideline, complete to number 10, Nick Redlin. And Redlin right there making the grab. Going to be just shy of the first down marker for the Elks, as it's going to bring up a 3rd and short for the Elks. As they converted earlier on a few 3rd down conversions. We're going to see if they can keep that up here right now.
Number 10, Michael Portis on the coverage, and number 24, Jermaine Portis, the other D-back. It seems like the only weakness that Springfield South is having so far. And Centerville's trying to use it for their advantage as for passing the game coming out here. But, when you're down by 10 points, I guess they might feel like they have to, which I'm hoping they don't want to rush it right now.
And the refs are going to bring the chains out on the field to measure this one to see whether or not the Elks got enough for the first down. Redlin coming very, very close as he was pushed out of bounds on the near side sideline. And I believe that's going to be a 3rd and short for the Elks with 11:21 remaining. And in case you haven't noticed us talking about this earlier on in the game, if you're out on the World Wide Web, just surfing around as you would, why don't you go and check out elksfootball.com if you want to find all the information that Adam and Chip and myself use up here in the booth. You can just go to elksfootball.com. It has any little tidbit of information you would like to know about the Elks football program. So just check it out. It's a fine website. I encourage you to go look at it. Remember, that's elksfootball.com, the World Wide Web. As Hawk sets up in the wishbone formation, and 1 wideout split out to the far side of the field. It is J.D. Kennard. As Hawk takes a snap, decides to keep it himself, and he just goes right up the middle of the Springfield defense, gets more than enough for the first down. So the Elks are going to move the chains once again here at the start of the 3rd quarter.
Do you want to win prizes on the radio? Sure you do. Everyone enjoys getting free stuff. Marissa and Allison give away tons of prizes every Monday between 3 and 4. All you have to do is listen to Monday Madness on WCWT for your chance to win fantastic prizes donated by Dingleberries.
And Hawk's going to have 4 wideouts now, 2 on each side of the field. Houston, the lone back for the Elks. As Hawk has Carpenter in motion to the near side of the field. Takes the tap, gives the ball to Houston. Houston tries to find a hole right there on the offensive line. Only going to get a couple of yards on the play. Probably going to bring up a 3rd and 8 for the Elks. And as time continues to wind down here early on in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, it brings a 2nd and 8. That's the only problem I've been seeing. I mean, Ray Houston's not been getting too many yards like he normally does, averaging around 176 yards per game. This game, Springfield South stepping up and stopping with their 4-4 setup on their defense.
That's right, and the Elks ground game not very consistent here tonight. Not something that we're usually used to seeing here from the Elks as Redlin goes into motion near side of the field, ball handed off to Houston. Houston trying to find some room, and he's not finding that room right up the gut of the South defense. Houston trying to put it right back, right up the middle of the defense there from South, and he's not getting too much yardage off of that, and it's going to bring up a 4th and 6, I believe, for the Elks. Excuse me, it's going to bring up a 3rd and 6 for the Elks early on in this third quarter. And probably going to see the Elks utilize the far side of the field somewhat right here, possibly sweep out to the far side. They have 2 wideouts, one on each side of the field. Carpenter going into motion to the near side of the field. The ball fake to Houston. Hawk decides to keep himself, breaks out to the near side of the field, gets more than enough for the first down, brought down right about the 20-yard line. So nice heads-up play there by Hawk to fake out the D and keep it himself to break up field for some more yardage for the Elks.
That was a big play by Hawk, getting some of the crowd into it. I mean, it was a 3rd down, and we haven't got too many of those this game. And Hawk just took it himself and ran through the defense like, I don't know. I don't know what to say here. I'm just speechless.
Ran to the defense.
And Hawk trying to change the play a bit here. He's yelling to his team. He's got 2 wideouts on the far side of the field, one on the near side. That is Willie McLean. Ray Houston, the lone back for the Elks. Redlin goes into motion for the Elks. Ball given to Houston. Houston refusing to go down. Takes 3 or 4 guys to bring him down to the turf. Houston's going to get a gain of about 5 yards on the play. Nice job there by Houston. Houston had a couple of guys pulling at his legs right there, refusing to go down, hopping on 1 foot to get a couple extra yards. And nice job there by Ray Houston, fighting for every yard he can get.
Yeah, that was Houston's 2nd best run of the night. The other run was about a 7-yarder for a touchdown, but that was untouched by Springfield South's defense. Maybe we can see Houston get a little involved as the crowd gets a little pumped up in this game.
And the Elks are going to line up with 2 in the backfield. That is Nick Redlin and Ray Houston. As Hawk hands them off to Redlin. Redlin finds a little bit of a hole there, but he's tripped up just shy of the first down marker. Going to bring up a 3rd and short for the Elks with 8:34 remaining in this third quarter play. I'd just like to remind you that the One Stop Auto Salon that sponsors Centerville Elk football here on the Beef. Give a call 438-8023 and see what they can do to improve the performance or looks of your car.
This is a big 3rd down, 3rd and 3, 3rd and short 3. And if the Elks need to get this, they have to kick a field goal. It will be very disappointing because Springfield South could, I don't know how their offense is going to do this half.
As Hawk is under center calling his shots right now, has Redlin in motion to the far side of the field, steps back, hands the ball off to Houston. Houston gets more than enough for the first down, gets inside the 10-yard line, going to bring up, I believe, a 1st and goal for the Centerville Elks. The Elks, I mentioned earlier, have a very high percentage once they get inside the 20. We're going to be looking for them to utilize that here right now, because they're down by a score of 20-10 to the South Wildcats.
Yeah, I'm expecting a pass play by the Elks here because the Springfield South are getting weak on putting their defensive backs, and the Elks are lining up a lot of receivers, and a lot of defensive backs or linebackers are going to have to run over and cover them right now.
And Ryan Hawk has Ray Houston in the backfield, 2 wide out to the near side of the field. Carpenter goes into motion, and the pitch out to Carpenter on the far side of the field. Carpenter has a little bit of room to run to, tries to cut back up the middle of the field. He's dragged down on about the 3-yard line. Carpenter almost getting in the end zone, just had to be one man, couldn't quite do it, but not a bad there by Carpenter to gather that pitch and run it up the field for a couple of yards.
Yeah, that was a great fake handoff. I was faked out. I was thinking Ray Houston was struggling to get in the end zone there, but Matty K with his keen eyesight spotted it out.
Thanks, Keith. As Hawk's going to have one in the backfield, that will be Ray Houston. He's going to have Kennard split out wide at the near side of the field. Possibly see this one going to Houston as Carpenter goes in motion to the near side of the field. And Hawk's rolling out to the near side of the field. He's wrapped up right there by the South defense. A number of players there to make the stop for the Wildcats as Hawk decided to keep it himself. Didn't have much room to work with and was stopped short of the goal line.
Yeah, Ian Watland for Springfield South with the stop there. He's been called a lot, making a lot of tackles. Him and James Fife for the Springfield defense. It's really stepping up, and it's forcing a 3rd down and goal from about the 3-yard line.
And the Elks will be a little bit disappointed if they have to walk away from this one with a field goal. They know Nugent can put it up in through the uprights, but they'd rather have a touchdown. As Hawk decides to keep himself, gets in the end zone for a score for the Centerville Elks. As Hawk doing a good job right there, having a nice heads-up play. as he faked a handoff, decided to roll out to the far side of the field, kept it himself, got in the end zone for a touchdown for the Centerville Elks. So the Elks jump right back in this one. They are still down by a score of 20-16 over there, climbing their way back into this one. If the Elks have any hopes of making it into the playoffs or winning the WOL championship, they have to win here tonight.
Springfield South maybe got a break there, as Ian Watlin, who I was just talking about, almost tried to throw Hawk down when he was already across the goal line by like 3 yards, but they didn't get any call. And
Nugent's kick is going to be up and through the uprights once again. So Nugent goes 2-2 on the night. As he has also put a field goal through the uprights.
and it's just much improvement on the offense than on the first half.
That's right. The Elks offense coming right off the bat and put one in the end zone for a score on a 3-yard touchdown run by Ryan Hawk. As Nugent's going to kick this one away to the Wildcats. Back to receive are Michael Portis and Rob Brown. As Nugent sends a nice kick to Brown. It's going to drop out of bounds about the 15-yard line, so the Elks are going to be penalized. Nugent's kick not quite staying in bounds, so the Wildcats will start with a 1st and 10 on their own 35-yard line with a 6:18 remaining in this.
Be a really bad thing to come back and haunt the Elks.
That's right, as Stevens is going to have one wide out on the near side of the field. That will be Rob Brown. Hughes in the backfield, Caldwell in motion, the ball given to Hughes. Hughes wrapped up a bit on the line of scrimmage, finally brought down by the Elk defense after a gain of a yard on the play. Going to bring up a 2nd and 8, at 2 yards on the play. 2nd and 8 with 6:08 remaining in the third quarter.
Number 45, Jason Griffin, coming up to make the initial hit. Looks a little pumped up right now. Griffith, I'm sorry. And the safety for Centerville. I think the seniors are going to probably step up the most here. It's, this is their last season, and they want to go to the playoffs this year.
And Stevens got 2 wideouts. Womack in motion. The ball handed off to Caldwell. Caldwell has a little bit of room to work with, and he's finally brought down there by the Elk defense. Almost every single player there in to make the stop for the Elks. Elks defense coming up real big. Caldwell only getting a few yards on the play. Going to bring up a 3rd and 6, I believe, for the Wildcats. As time continues to wind down here in this third quarter.
Also, they had Vince Baker make the initial contact there. He had a blocker, Caldwell had a blocker in front of him to block Baker, and Baker squeaked by the blocker, just grabbed onto his feet and tried to hold on for dear life till a defensive player from the Elks came by to help him out. Good play by Baker.
And Stevens is going to have 3 wideouts on the near side of the field, 1 on the far side, Hughes in the backfield. They're going to look for him to pass downfield as he fakes a handoff, and he looks downfield, throws a lob pass to Brown. Brown's going to bring it in on the 25-yard line. He's finally driven out of bounds by Kennard. Kennard just driving him out of bounds at about the 17-yard line. So great pass there by Thomas Stevens, leading his receiver just enough so Rob Brown can bring that one in and pick up a big gain for the Wildcats. The Elks have to stop this one if they want to stay in the game, because they cannot battle out with this high-powered offense from Springfield South.
Great, I can't think of the word now, but it was a good play by Stevens, but I thought that was a poor effort by Rob Brown. He could have maybe got squeezed in a touchdown. He just ran out of bounds basically on his own.
I agree.
And Hughes in the backfield. Stevens fakes a handoff, rolling out to the far side of the field. Decides to come back up the middle. He's wrapped up there by Jason Griffith, Terry Tamaska, and a number of other of Elk players. Going to bring up a 2nd and 7 for the Wildcats. And back to what Keith Haver said, I do believe that Brown had a little bit of field in front of him. Kind of just gave up on that one. Just wanted to bring the offense down. Maybe he wanted to run a little bit of time off the clock. Time will prove to be crucial here later on in the game. Who has possession of the ball most, and don't know really what was going through his mind, but did not quite make it to the end zone.
Well, I think this last play, the Elks caught the referees napping a little bit, because it looked like there could have been a fumble by Stevens, but didn't even run up or act like there was even a close to a fumble. I don't know if the refs were paying attention on that call. I don't know if I should be saying that either.
Stevens takes a snap, hands the ball to Caldwell. Caldwell trying to break out to the far side of the field, and he's tripped up and knocked out of bounds by the Centerville Elks defense. And it's going to be just shy of the first down marker. It looks like A.J. Hawk making the tackle for the Elks. Doing it everywhere there in the inside linebacker position for the Centerville Elks. Only a freshman could possibly go all WOL this year. Quite a great player, quite a great athlete. One of the biggest players I've seen at his age.
You can get highest honor of all, Wonder Boy.
And Stevens We're going to line up with two wideouts, one on each side of the field. Womack goes into motion to the far side of the field. Ball handed off to Caldwell. Caldwell has a little bit of room to work with. He cuts back up the middle of the field and gets in the end zone for a score for the Springfield South Wildcats. So Caldwell, breaking out on the near side of the field, found a hole, cut back up the middle, made his way in the end zone for another score with 3:55 remaining in this third quarter play. So the Wildcats go up by a score of 26-17 over your Centerville Elks.
Yeah,
late
I think
in this third quarter.
well, a key player for Springfield South that hasn't been mentioned that much was James DeWilder. He's been playing offensive, defense line, and offensive and defensive line. Also, he was the punter, and they got that same formation they had in the first 2-point conversion right now.
That's right, as the ball is going to be fumbled by Stevens. It's going to be wrapped up there by the Elk defense, so no chance for the 2-point conversion by the Wildcats. Wildcats came out with that odd-looking formation. A little bit of a miscommunication right there between Stevens and the snapper as the ball sailed over Stevens. The South team pumped up and ready to go as they line up to take this kick. And the Elks wait anxiously for this ball, and they're going to try and drive this one down the field into the end zone for another score for the Elks. And it's a nice high end-over-end kick, driving Kennard all the way back to the 5-yard line. Kennard's going to field it there, cut right up the middle of the field, looking for some room to run to. Avoids one tackle, and he finally brought down there by the Wildcat special teams at about the Centerville Elks 33-yard line. So not a bad return there by Kennard. It's going to give the Elks fair field position to start off this drive.
And he was stopped by number 90, Mitchell Crossley, who's also been sharing kickoff duties with number 1, Eric Moore. It was a decent play for the Elks. I mean, Kennard went untouched till he met whatever his name, Crossley is, met him there. And I think, Kennard's showing some great speed and subbing for Griffith on the kickoff returns.
And Hawk has one wideout split out the far side of the field. The ball's given to Redlin right up to go to the Wildcat defense. Redlin tripped up after a gain of about 3 yards on the play. Going to bring up a 2nd and 8 with 3:37 remaining in this third quarter. The Elks are down by a score of 26-17. There's a South player down on the field. And while the trainers are attending to him, I'd just like to remind you that the Centerville Elks football here on the beat player was escorted off the field. Hawk's going to have two wideouts split out to the near side of the field. Houston in the backfield for the Elks as Hawk rolling out to the near side of the field, looking for someone to pass to. Fires a pass out, in and out of the hands of Kennard at about the 50-yard line right there. Kennard could not quite hold on that one. Hawk had him open with a defender pressuring him on the back. I believe that was Thomas Stevens. Stevens getting some time in on both sides of the ball tonight.
I believe you're right. Don't forget to join Bucky and Friends this Tuesday from 4 to 7 for the best modern and classic rock, plus the latest news from our reliable resource, the Weekly World News. I'm kind of upset about Bucky right now because during the pep assembly he was a cow and he was bragging about it, but I never saw him as a cow. Upsetting.
As Hawk takes a snap, fakes hand up, looking downfield, fires a pass out of the near side of the field, going to be caught by Kennard at about the 48-yard line. The officials are going to call that incomplete. Looks like he brought it in from up here in the booth, but the officials are going to signal that one down. Going to bring up a 4th and 8 for the Elks. They're going to have to punt this one away. We've not seen the punting unit out on the field many times this year for the Elks. This is kind of an unusual thing for them, as the Elks are used to being at top in the second half and not really trailing and trying to fight their way back into the game. Back to receive this punt for the Wildcats will be Eric Moore and Michael Portis.
Yeah, Eric Moore, little guy, 5'9", 149.
As Portis is going to be driven all the way back to the 24-yard line, going to field down one, trying to find some room to run to, and he is finally brought down at about the 36-yard line of the Wildcats. So the Wildcats get fairly good field position to start this drive, and there's only 2:58 remaining in this third quarter.
I thought that was a great block by number 1, Eric Moore. On Springfield South kind of sacrificed his body to make a block for his man, Michael Cortez. I think it is.
That's right, and just a little reminder, tomorrow night, 7 p.m., your Centerville boys varsity soccer team will be taking on Stebbins at the Centerville Soccer Stadium. Go out and support them if you cannot make it out to the game. Tune in to 101.5. Paul Michelson, Jeff Cash will have live play-by-play action of your Centerville Elks as the Elks defense wraps Thomas Stevens up behind the line of scrimmage, drops him for a loss of 6 yards on the play. Ice there. Job there by the Centerville Elk defense. That is Rob Bauman's 2nd sack of the night. So he's playing an outstanding game here tonight.
Yeah, we've called A.J. Hawk's number a little less, and Rob Bauman's a little more. Maybe it's his turn to get the Defensive Player of the Week award.
And Hawk is playing a very strong game this week as well. Broke up a pass and had a few nice tackles here tonight as Stevens fakes a handoff, trying to roll back to the near side of the field, being pressured a bit. Gets a pass off to Hughes. Hughes is hit hard as he makes a grab just shy of the original line of scrimmage. Vince Baker landed quite a hit right there on Curtis Hughes. Hughes is down on the field. The officials are going to stop the clock as the trainers are going to have to run out and see how Hughes is doing.
You know, Centerville's Ray Houston has 1,274 yards, and he also has 17 touchdowns, which that number has not gone up by much tonight. He's gotten, I think, 1 touchdown, so it's about 18 right now.
And it's going to bring up a 3rd and 11 for the Wildcats, as the Wildcats have 3 wideouts on the far side of the field. Thomas Stevens has 1 in the backfield. That's Will Caldwell. Stevens being pressured to pick in the pocket, lets it loose. A pass on the far side of the field going to be caught there by number 21 and finally driven out of bounds by Terry Tamaska. Nice job there by Stevens to keep his poise back in the pocket and release that pass to Tyron DeArmond as he made the grab enough for the first down for the Wildcats. So that was a big play there for the Wildcats as they converted on a 3rd down.
I'm going to go back to the Ryan Brewer thing a little bit. He's also leading the Miami Valley in points with 203. The next guy has 104. That's Ray Houston, believe it or not. In punting,
Right like that.
Ryan Brewer is number 1 again with 44.2 as his average. Thomas Stevens hands it off to number 27, and he's tackled hard for number 40, Dan Braner, and AJ Hawk on the play for your Elks.
And it looks like Hughes, even though he was a bit shaken up on the play, the previous play, is back in the game here for the Wildcats. Getting a gain of a couple yards on the play, going to bring up a 2nd and 4 for the Wildcats as time continues to wind down here in the 3rd quarter. Only a minute 29 remaining in this 3rd quarter play. The Elks are down by a score of 26-17. Looking to fight their way back in this one. Not giving up the first drive of the game. The offense came out and put it in the end zone for a score, but the Elks defense is going to have to come up big right here if they want to stay in this game. As Stevens takes a snap, hands the ball off right up the gut of the Centerville Elk defense to, I believe, number 27, Curtis Hughes. Hughes carries him for about 4 yards on the play.
Yeah, I got some scores around the league. Springfield North is up 42-14 against the Beaver Creek Beavers. And Troy, as we're just talking about, big Ryan Brewer, is up 17-7 against Pickwood, which is a good game. Both teams 5-2. Wayne 35-7 at halftime against Fairborn. And Fairmont 14-6 against Senior.
And Stevens going to line up with 1 in the backfield, 2 wideouts, 1 on each side of the field. Steps back in the pocket, look at the near side, fires the bounce out to Rob Brown. Brown makes the catch, avoids 1 tackler. Ben Ailes is finally brought down at the Centerville Elks 26-yard line by Jason Griffith. Ailes couldn't quite make the play there on Brown. Brown doing a nice job at avoiding him and getting enough for the first down and moving the chains with 31 seconds remaining in this 3rd quarter play.
All right, I think our defense is slowing down again. It's upsetting to watch. Rob Brown,
How much time is that?
this guy seems like he tries every once in a while, and the other times he doesn't really try that hard. But he's a pretty good player, I gotta say that.
As Stevens has Hughes in the backfield, 3 wideouts on the far side of the field. The ball given to Hughes. Hughes finds a hole in the offensive line and finally brought down after a gain of 5 yards on the play. As time is winding down in this 3rd quarter play, I believe the teams are just going to let the clock run out.
Big Hughes is getting a lot of handoffs this 2nd half compared to Will Caldwell with a lot of carries he got in the 1st half.
And that's going to bring a close to the 3rd quarter play out here at Centerville High School Football Stadium. Your Centerville moving forward if they want to go on and walk away with a win in this game. As Stevens is going to have 3 wideouts, 2 on the far side, 1 on the near side. Hughes in the backfield. So under center, and he's takes a snap, steps back in the pocket, looking downfield, lobs a pass to Will Caldwell, in and out of his hands. Terry Tamaska on the coverage for the Elks. Caldwell trying to leap up in the air and catch that one, just went through his hands. Not a bad pass there by Stevens, leading his receiver. Caldwell had a step on Tamaska, but could not bring in the pass.
You know, Matty, the biggest thing that's killing these Elks tonight is the South defense. It's just killing them. Their South offense is decent, but the biggest thing about this game, the South defense is killing the offense. They've shut down their running game up the middle. The 4-4 defense that they've been running shuts down Houston. The Elks need to get the ball either in the air or around the sides successfully in order to win out this game.
That's right. As Hughes the lone back for the Wildcats. Stevens takes a snap, fakes the handoff, rolling out to the far side of the field, pitches out to Womack. Womack has a little bit of room to run to, gets more than enough for the first down. Going to move the chains for the Wildcats once again, as Womack using that breakout speed down on the far sideline to get enough for the first down. And it looks like as there's only 11:46 remaining in this game, the Elks Gonna have to use every bit of effort to get back in this game. Not something that we've seen a lot. The Elks have not been down in very many of their ball games, especially late in the second half. The only game that which was the game they lost to Troy, 49-43, but they fought back into that one. Stevens is going to bring his unit back up to the line of scrimmage as Hughes in the backfield, and the ball given to, or excuse me, that's Caldwell. Caldwell fumbles the ball out on the far side of the field. I believe he fell on it himself. A number of Elk players in there trying to recover that fumble. A little miscommunication there between Caldwell and Stevens.
Elks football on 101.5 is brought to you by the One Stop Auto Salon. The One Stop Auto Salon is located on State Route 48. Heart of Centerville, directly behind the Women's Air and Space Museum. The One Stop Auto Salon specializes in auto detailing, aftermarket performance, and aftermarket styling kits.
And this South offense driving deep into Centerville Elk territory right now, looking to put another score on the board and dampen any hopes that Centerville might have of winning this ball game. The Elks not in a usual position here tonight, as they are down by a score of 26-17. We need to get their offense out on the field. As I said earlier, the team that's going to walk away with a win in this one is going to be the team who has the offense out, their offense out on the field more of the time. As South's going to line up with two wideouts on each side of the field. Caldwell going into motion. Stevens fakes handoff, pitches to Brown. The boys one tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Chris Mitchell chasing after him, as is Ben Ailes. Ailes finally wraps him up behind the line of scrimmage and brings him down. There's going to be a flag on the play, and I'm not sure what the calls are going to be just yet, as Ailes and Mitchell giving chase to Brown there on the near side of the field. Finally brought him down for a loss of about 8 yards on the play.
Elks hoping for something against South here. They need to push the ball back just a little bit.
And it's going to be against the Wildcats, and that's going to be a double penalty there, holding and clipping, as well as going to bring them back. The Elks defense catching a very, very big break there on that play. And
I'm glad you caught that, Matt, because that was way over my head. I got the holding, but I missed the clipping call. We'll just take the clip.
And they're going to take the clip for a 15-yard penalty. I believe they declined the hold. And it's going to bring up a 3rd and long for the Wildcats, as they are going to start this one on the Elk 24-yard line with 10:28 remaining in this game. Stevens has Hughes in the backfield, along with Brown split out to the far side of the field. And he steps back in the pocket looking to pass downfield, and he does. Lets it loose a long pass out of the end zone on the far side of the field. J.D. Kennard on the coverage. It's going to be an incomplete pass there on the far side of the end zone. Stevens throwing a nice pass. Just good coverage there by Kennard, as Brown coming up off the play, limping a bit. Looks like he's a little bit hurt.
This is going to put South in a bad position now. This is a position they've not been in all night. So far, they've shown that they don't have a whole lot of a use of a kicker. But we're going to see what they're going to do. It's a 4th and 20 situation. They've got good field position. Looks to me as if they're just going to go ahead and go for it, Matty.
That's right. South has the offense to get it done, as they have a couple of good receivers downfield. Stevens steps back in the pocket looking downfield to pass. He is hit there by Braner as he lets loose of the ball, and the ball is going to float over the head of number 84, Larry Brown, and into the end zone, as the Centerville Elks defense comes up really big after catching a big break on that last play. They're going to turn this one over to the Elks offense. The Elks have 10 minutes and 8 seconds to run this one down the field, put it in the end zone. They're going to need 2 scores on this one. It's going to be a 2-possession game for the Elks, so they're going to have to move the ball quickly down the field if they want to put another one in.
That was so key to the Elks game right now. They needed to shut down the South team, and they've done it. Let's see if the Elks offense can show what they can do.
That's right. As the ball's given to Houston. It faked to Houston, pitched off to Carpenter on the near side sideline. Carpenter gets about 8 yards on the play. Going to be just shy of the first down marker. And Hawk doing a nice job of faking out the defense there with the fake to Houston and finally pitching it out to Carpenter.
Hawk needs to keep the ball, like I said before, in the air along the sidelines. They've been shut down up the middle. Houston has over 1,000 yards this year. Every time that ball goes up the middle, that team's going to swarm them. They need to get the ball around the sides or up in the air.
As Redlin going in motion for the Elks. Ball handing off to Houston. Houston trying to find some room right up the gut of the Wildcat defense. Looks like it's going to be just past the first down marker. Going to give the Elks another first down here with 9:30 remaining. As Chip was saying earlier, the Elks have to capitalize right here on this possession. This is a key possession in the game for the Elks. If they do not score here, who knows what will happen later on in the game.
This could be the end of it if the Elks don't score on this possession. They need, if they take it, slow down their situation, drive slower like the Elks football is used to. Instead of these big plays that they've been running all year, they might be able to capitalize.
And Huston runs right up the middle of the Wildcat defense, avoiding many tacklers on the way. And he gets 7 yards on the play, going to bring up a 2nd and 3 for the Elks. With 9 minutes remaining in this game, the Elks need to move the ball down the field quickly because this is going to be a 2-possession game for the Elks.
The Elks, they need to be showing, spreading out the field, adding the receivers up there. You know, they need to spread out this area. They got to keep away from the running up the middle of the field.
Redlin goes into motion. Hawk's going to pitch it out to Redlin on the near side sideline. Redlin tries to cut back up the middle of the field. Tripped up. Is going to get enough for the first down for the Elks. Going to move the chains once again. And they're going to stop the clock momentarily to move the chains as Redlin kind of hurdling a Springfield South defender right there to get enough for the first down. And just a little reminder, Centerville Elks football here on the beat is brought to you by the One Stop Auto Salon. The One Stop Auto Salon is located right in the heart of Centerville and can improve the looks or performance of your car. So give them a call, 438-8023, and see what Matt Dameron, the president, can do for you and your car. As Hawks going to have one wideout split out to the far side of the field. Carpenter in motion to the far side of the field. Ball given to Huston. Huston not finding any type of room to run to. Is going to get a gain of about 2 yards on the play, going to bring up a 2nd and 8, but the Elks have not found the room they would have liked to up the middle of the field here tonight as Redlin coming off the field looking like he's a little bit hurt on the play.
Redlin way shaken up, holding one arm against his waist, waving for another player to come out on the field, and looks to maybe be his shoulder that hurt. He's down on the ground right now. Trainer's tending to him.
Could be a dislocation.
And Ailes in the ball game for Redlin as the ball is given to Ailes. Ailes over his room to run to, cuts out to the far near side of the field, and is finally brought down after a gain of 4 yards on the play. Going to bring up a 3rd and 3, for the Elks. Redlin looks like he is really hurt. They're taking him off the field. It could be a big factor for the Elks later on in this game as Redlin looks to be really, really shaken up. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 3 for the Elks with 7:15 as time continues to wind down here late in the ball game. Reed Huston alone back for the Elks. 2 wideouts, one on each side of the field. Hawk steps back in the pocket. Huston finds a hole, gets enough for the first down, gets down to the Springfield South 39-yard line. So not a bad run there by Huston. Huston staying away from the middle of the field, finds some room on the outside, and gets enough for the first down for the Elks.
And time's ticking away here. The Elks, as I said, you know, to play slow football, but they need to get the ball in the end zone now. They're moving downfield. Redlin it could have been a big blow to the Elks to lose Redlin. He's been fairly productive this evening. As soon as we hear something on him, we'll let you know.
Hawks going to have 2 wideouts, one on each side of the field. Kennard on the near side, McLean on the far side. Carpenter going into motion to the far side of the field. Hawk steps back, hands the ball to Huston. Huston being chased out to the far side of the field. Decides to cut back up the middle of the field, gets a gain of 3 yards on the play. The South defense all over the Elks running game here tonight. The Elks getting it done on the ground in the first couple of games, or all year long, and this South defense has come out tonight and shut them down.
Elks football on 101.5 is brought to you by the One Stop Auto Salon. The One Stop Auto Salon is located on State Route 48, directly behind the Women's Air and Space Museum.
And Ryan Hawk has 2 wideouts, one on each side of the field. Huston in the backfield, and Hawk decides to keep himself, cuts up the middle of the field, and gets a gain of 6 yards on the play. Going to bring up a 3rd and 2 for the Elks as there is 5:57 remaining in this ball game. Time just ticking away for the Elks as Ryan Hawk trying to get something together here on the offensive side of the ball. He is their leader out there on the field. He's trying to get things together, and this is a big play for the Elks as Griffith going into motion. Hawk fakes the pitch on the far side of the field, or the near side of the field, gives the ball to Huston right up the gut of the Wildcat defense. It's going to be, I believe, enough for the first down for the Elks. As no word from the officials, and they are going to move the chains once again. So big play there. The Elks did move the ball enough yards for the first down on that previous play.
5:30, clock ticking away. Elks are just eating up time, and it could turn out to be for their benefit, but they better hurry up. They're going to need to get another. Another drive. That is saying that they do pull off something on this drive. They're down by 9 points. They need to pick up at least 2 scores.
That's right. This is going to be a 2-possession ball game for the Elks. They're down by the score of 26-17 late in this ball game. And they're going to need to punch this one in. The Elks defense is going to have to come up big, and they're going to have to get that right back in the end zone or through the uprights if they want to go up and win this game here tonight against the Wildcats. As Carpenter goes in motion to the far side of the field, Hawk fakes a handoff, fires a pass in the middle of the field, and Griffith all alone shots in the end zone for a score for the Centerville Elks. Griffith with no one around him, standing all alone about the 10-yard line. Good heads-up play there by Ryan Hawk finding the time, looking downfield, giving that ball to Griffith as he trots in the end zone for a score for the Centerville Elks. So nice job there by Ryan Hawk and company to put that one in for the Elks. The Elks jump right back in this one, down by the score of 26-23. And Nugent's going to come out on the field to take this extra point attempt for the Elks. Good snap in. The kick is up and blocked as Nugent gets the very first extra point attempt in 4 games blocked for the Wildcats. Really getting some fresh legs in here late in the ball game, as there's only 5 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in this game. And Nugent's kick is a low kick, and South is going to recover that one in Centerville Elk territory. And no word from the officials yet. Some of them signaling, and it's going to be South ball on the Centerville Elk 48-yard line with 5:09 remaining in this ball game. The Elks almost coming up with that one. But good job there by the South Special Teams unit to fall on that ball right inside Elk territory.
Tough call by the Elks. What do you do in a situation like that? To me, it looked like they were just going to go ahead and kick it off, let the defense take care of it. They did decide to go for the onside. It failed. It was close, but it failed. Defense really needs to step up, play well, get the job done. That's what these guys practice for.
Caldwell going in motion for the Wildcats. Stevens throws a long pass downfield as looks like number 79, Joe Abood, laying quite a hit on Stevens. Stevens getting nailed as he let go of that pass way downfield. And receiver Rob Brown had no chance of pulling that one in as it floated 15 yards over his head.
Matty, this is when the Elks would like to see that defensive team step up, either go get this South team 3 and out, or step up and make the big play, get the interception, get the ball. They've proved so far that this year they can do it. They haven't shown a whole lot this game. The ball, no matter how it's done, needs to get back in the Elks' offensive hands.
And Stevens takes a snap, pitches out to Womack going on the far side of the field. Womack driven out of bounds after a gain of 4 yards on the play. Going to bring up a third and 6, with 4:58 remaining in this ball game. The Elks need a big stop from their D so they get the offensive ball back, so they can get back downfield and put another one in the end zone, or another one through the uprights to tie or win this game. Griffith out on the field right now, trying to pump up his Elks team. The fans getting into it. Right now, the Elks are going to need all the support they can get to try and get this one and pull this win off here against South.
This could be the biggest play this Elks defense goes up against all year. This is what
either team gets possession of this ball, and both sides pumped up right now as South comes out with 2 wideouts on the near side of the field. Hughes in the backfield for the Wildcats. South defense pumped up and ready to go at this Wildcat offense. Just Caldwell is dropped up behind the line of scrimmage by the Centerville defense. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I can't get those words out of my mouth. I'm so excited. And we might see South go for it on a 4th and 7. The Elks defense right there, pumped up and ready to go. And looks like there's going to be an exchange of personnel as South is going to look to punt this one away and play it a little bit safe. Big play there by the Elk defense.
My boy AJ there, Dan Braner, they make the big plays there. They were there to get the job done. Excellent job by the Elks defense.
And back away the kick is Jason Griffith. There's a high snap on a punt. And number 51 gathers that and kicks that one away to Griffith. Griffith's going to let that one bounce. And he's going to finally pick it up. And he's going to be brought down on the 1-yard line. A little bit of an indecision there by Jason Griffith. Griffith finally picked it up on the 1-yard line, almost driven into his own end zone there, but used the power of his strong legs to stay out. And it's going to bring up a 1st and 10 on their own 1-yard line. So the Elk well, first and 99 if they want to make it all the way to the end zone. And there's only 4 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in this game. The Elks offense has been able to do this throughout the year, pull off big play after big play, and we're going to have to see if they can do it in the big game here tonight.
The key, give the ball to Ailes. I'll tell you what, Ben will run that ball all the way to the end zone from the 1 yard line. I have no doubt about it in my mind. He wants this game more than any player on that field.
And Hawk takes the snap, gives the ball to Houston. Houston trying to muscle his way. And he's finally brought down after a gain of 2 yards on the play. He's gonna get 2 yards on the play, and gonna get the Elks a little bit farther out. Not gonna be standing in their own end zone now, running the play. But time going to be a critical factor later on in the game. Right now, it's going to continue to take off the clock with 3:50 remaining. The Elks are down by a score of 26-23. Elks trying to get his unit organized right there, and it looks like they're going to call for a timeout, so that will boost them in the computer rankings as Kennard is going to be lined up on the far side of the field. The Elks are going to have one in the backfield as Ray Houston. Hawk steps back, turns. There's a little bit of a flea flicker for the Elks. He's looking downfield. Hawk lets loose a long pass to Kennard. Kennard's going to bring it. Oh, and he's going to bobble it at the 45-yard line. Kennard had it in and out of his hands, and he falls to the ground holding his head. He was just so close to bringing that ball in. Hawk let loose a nice pass downfield. He had Kennard open downfield, and that was a gutsy call by the Elks coaching staff. With a little bit of a flea flicker. You know, the Elks aren't known for all those big creative plays, but this year they've been pulling it off. And Hawk has Houston in the backfield, 2 wideouts on the far side of the field. He's rolling out to the far side of the field, looking downfield, and he's passes downfield. It's going to be incomplete and out of bounds at the 30-yard line. So going to bring up a 4th and 8 for the Elks. This is the play that's going to decide the outcome of this game. The Elks need a first down on this play.
Oh my gosh, man. I'm about to have a heart attack over here, buddy. Kennard, that was right there. His best pass I've seen from Hawk all year. An excellent job. We have a penalty on the play here. The Elks sidelines are just going nuts, and they're going to move the ball all the way up to about just a little bit in front of the 20-yard line. Yeah, I bet that's a good call from my spotter here. I'm getting all these comments through my ears. Probably going to be a personal foul. I'm assuming probably some comments on the sidelines from the coaches or some of the players. They're going to move the ball up to the 20-yard line for a 1st and 10 for the Elks. That saves the Elk offense big time.
That's a crucial mistake there from the South defense as Carpenter goes in motion to the near side of the field. Hawk going to fake the handoff, looking downfield, fires out to the far side of the field. Going to be caught by Kennard out there on the far side. Going to be enough for the first down. Kennard's going to bring that one at the Elk 34-yard line as there is 3:26 remaining in this ball game. The Elks are trying to fight their way back into this one.
Matt, this game is far from over. The Elks are not wanting to give this up. Picked up a little break there from on a South penalty, but that's all right. They want this game. They're down by 3:20. Time ticking away here. The Elks need to keep the clock stopped or keep the ball moving.
And Houston in the backfield for the Elks. There's 2 wideouts on the near side of the field. Hawk looking to pass. He's rolling out to the near side of the field, looking downfield. Fires out to the near side sideline. It's going to be out of the reach of J.D. Kennard. Kennard complaining a bit to the referee. Maybe thinking that there's going to be some kind of interference on the play by Thomas Stevens, but Hawk's pass was just off the mark on the near side sideline.
Hawk not happy about that one. He's in his players' faces and the referees' faces. He's not happy. That's the most animated I've seen him all year, but not a happy guy at all. 3:06 left here on the clock. Centerville Elks are down by 3 points. Score 23-26 against Springfield South.
And Hawks going to have Houston in the backfield, 3 wideouts, 2 on the far side. Houston going into motion to the far side of the field. And they're going to do a little swing pass to Kennard. Kennard's going to kick it and throw it downfield. Going to be in and out of the hands of Josh Carpenter at about the 34-yard line. So the Elk coach is pulling every trick out of the bag that they can. Not something you're going to see from the Centerville Elks team at all. And Kennard taking that little swing pass from Hawk and looking downfield for Carpenter, who was wide open, just in and out of the hands, couldn't hold on to it. As that's going to bring up a 3rd and 10 for the Elks.
Hey, that's 2 big touchdown plays. Both those plays, Kennard and Carpenter, those 2 plays could have been touchdowns right there. The Elks just not getting it done.
And Hawk's going to roll out to the near side of the field, looking to pass downfield. And he does. It's going to be in and out of the hands of Kennard. And there's going to be a flag on the play. The Elk player is very, very happy out there on the sideline. I believe there's going to be some kind of a pass interference on the play against South. So South just bailing the Elks out of each and every drive right here, as they had a big penalty on a 3rd and 8 out on the 1 yard line for the Elks. And, they continue to bail the Elks out. It's going to be against the Wildcats. Going to give the Elks another first down. So,
The South coaches are all on the field right now, by the way.
That's right. And the South coach is very, very upset by this. Not something that you want to see out of your players out on the field, making big mistake after big mistake and letting this team back into the game. The Elks hanging on, just barely using everything they got, trying to, pulling all the tricks out of the bag right there. A little flea flicker earlier, a little swing pass, and then the little swing pass and Kennard passing it downfield, and Carpenter in and out of his hands. So the Elk offense trying to put something together. As there's 3 wideouts, one back in the backfield. The ball is handed off to Houston. Houston still on his feet, runs into his own player. He's wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of a yard. Zac Elcess in the way of Houston, and the clock is just ticking down here in the end of this ball game.
Yeah, I want little words of advice for Ryan out there. I'm so glad he's pumped up. I'm glad he's showing a little animation out there. But on that last penalty, he came up and kind of put his arm around the referee, patting him on the back. I don't know how much of a problem that can cause, but I'm assuming that could be a problem if you overdo it. Patting him on the back, kind of thanking him for the call. But he's got to watch that. You got to be careful about stuff like that.
That's right. As Hawks rolling out to the near side field, being hit again. The caught is made by Kennard, caught on the 20-yard line, just barely dragged down on the 15-yard line. Kennard making quite a catch right there, and Michael Portis saving a touchdown for the Wildcats as Portis hanging on to Kennard's one leg. Kennard just barely going down right there. Hawk nailed as he let go of that pass. Wiley just laying out quite a hit right there, and the Elks going to be looking to put this one in the end zone as there's only 2 minutes remaining in this ball game. Time continuing to wind down here in the game.
That's Elks football, Matty, right there. That is Elks football. Those are my boys out there playing their hearts out. Every single player on the sidelines jumped for joy when that
Hart came up big for the drop.
And Hawk hands the ball off to Houston. Houston finds no yards right up the middle of the field. And on that last play, Kennard making up for one he dropped earlier on, and
they want to kill some time.
doing a great job. And every one of those Elk players did everything they got out on that field to win this game here tonight. As there's 1:29 remaining, time winding down now late in the quarter.
Nugent on the sidelines practicing his kicks right now. He ran over to the net. He is working his butt off, just putting up these kicks. If they have to go to him, they will.
And Hawk steps back in the pocket, rolling out the near side of the field, looking to pass downfield. He is hit behind the line of scrimmage. He throws a pass, and it's going to go over the head of J.D. Kennard. Hawk being very, very smart on that last play, just getting rid of the ball, not taking the sack, so they can stay within field goal range to tie up this ball game if they need to.
Brings up a 3rd and 10 situation. Excellent job by Hawk to avoid the sack. Could not have taken that. That would have killed the Elks. That would have been it. They're done. But he stayed on his feet, got rid of the ball. Excellent job by Hawk to keep his composure. These Hawk boys, they do so well under pressure.
That's right, and Hawk just doing a great job right there. He was, he had one defender wrapped around his leg, trying to pull him down. He just stayed put and put that ball up in the air as he's going to fake the handoff and roll out to the far side of the field. And he's going to run up the field. He's at about the 5, the 4, and he is brought down about the 3-yard line. Hawk looked a little bit indecisive right there, had the whole field on the far side to work with, and he looked a little bit indecisive until, everybody in the stands started yelling at him to go for it, and he headed down to the 3-yard line to bring up a first and goal for the Elks as time's winding down late in this game.
52, 51.
And looks like the Elks are going to burn up another timeout here as there's only 52 seconds remaining.
That's going to be what I go for. That's my call. 52 seconds at Ailes in the end zone.
And the Elks have 4 tries to get this one into the end zone through the uprights. They're on the 3-yard line, and we're going to look for the Elks to punch this one in the end zone and win this one outright.
Do a fake up the middle and pitch outside.
Possibly some sort of a fake up the middle, maybe a pitch to the outside, as Ailes goes into motion, and the ball's going to give it right to Griffith. Griffith gets in the end for a score for the Centerville Elks with 49 seconds remaining in this ball game. The Elks go up by a score of 29-26, and everybody in the stands going crazy here tonight. And the Elks doing a great job starting off a drive on their own 1-yard line, catching a few breaks here and there with mistakes from the South defense, and finally capping that one off with a 3-yard touchdown run by number 45 Wonder Boy Jason Griffith. And there's 49 seconds remaining in this game. The Elks though can't be too sure of this one. They still have 49 seconds to kill on the clock. Nugent gonna have to put this one in for the Elks. The Elks, if they go up by 4 with this kick from Nugent, then the Wildcats will have to go for the touchdown. They could drive down and use any sort of their kicking game to help them out, as Hawk's going to hold for Nugent. Nugent awaiting the snap, as he's going to line up and try and put this one through the uprights for the Elks. And this kick is up, and it's going to be good. So Nugent puts the Centerville Elks up by a score of 30-26 with 49 seconds remaining in this ball game. The Elks have given everything they.
Coaches are nothing but proud of every single one of these players. You know, they've come through in the games, and these third-string guys in the last couple weeks have come through and put points on the board, played well. You know, tonight it's come down to a closer game. They've stepped up and they've gotten the job done. You know, it might not have been the prettiest thing I've seen, but they got the job done, and that's all that counts. They are winning by 4 points now, and that's all that matters.
Griffith made up his touchdown for the ball number 1 too.
And Griffith doing a good job right there, punching that one in the end zone for the Elks, making up for almost the costly mistake of picking that ball up on the 1-yard line. Could have let that one bounce, and it was a little bit indecisive. Decided to pick it up on the 1, almost dragged back into his own end zone, and made up for it with that 3-yard touchdown run, as Nugent sends a deep kick all the way back into the end zone. And he's going to take that one. Jermaine Arnoldton, is going to be running that one all the way out to the 15-yard line for the South Wildcats. So 44 seconds remain. This Elk defense has to come up big right here if the Elks want to walk away a winner here tonight.
They need to watch the big play. South has shown that they're capable of running the oddball play, there's something a little out of the ordinary to get the job done. They need to watch that. They need to watch the regular plays. They've got 44 seconds is a lot of time when you think about it. You know, I'll tell you what, all it's going to take is one snap for South to put the ball in the end zone. They can pull it off. They need to watch it. Hawk, block, you guys need to step up and you need to shut down this South offense.
They got 4 deep. And looks like the Elks are going to play it safe with 4 deep right now. And Steven's going to take the snap, drop back in the pocket, being pressured a bit. And Braner is going to almost drag him down. There's going to be a complete pass on the far side sideline to Will Caldwell. And Braner applying a little bit of pressure right there, and Abood laying a hit on Stevens as he was. Clock is running. There's only 27 seconds remaining in this ball game. The South isn't taking a timeout here. Stevens going to take the snap, looking out to the near side of the field to pass. He does. That's going to be caught by Larry Brown and wrapped up right there by the Centerville Elk defense. Terry Tamaska playing with a chipped hip right there, and 16 seconds remaining in this ball game. And the Elks have no more timeouts in this game. South has 2, and it's going to bring up a third and one, for the Wildcats, and the South is going to burn up one of their.
What's be happening here? They're not happy that the South coaches feel free to just walk around on the field. But other than that, everything seems to be okay.
And the Elks are going to play it safe here. They're going to have 4 back, 1 deep. And Hughes is going to go into motion, and Stevens going to drop deep back in the pocket, looking downfield. Going to be pressure there, and he's hit as he releases the ball. And it's going to be caught by Michael Portis on the near side sideline at the 25-yard line of the Centerville Elks. Clayton Spence could not quite keep up with that. There's 8 seconds remaining in this ball game. The Elks are up by a score of 30-26. The Elks defense has to come up very, very big right here if they want to walk away a winner. And
Clayton
Spence
playing injured this week. He's been injured last couple weeks. This is his first week back. Just not quite up to speed there.
He's all over that pass. He couldn't keep up.
God, he just couldn't keep up with him on that. This is going to be
most likely, because they have no timeouts. The Elks have no timeouts left. And this play is going to decide the game for the Centerville Elks and the Springfield South Wildcats. Wildcats line up with 3 wideouts, 2 on the far side, 1 on the near side. Hughes goes into motion. Stevens is going to take the snap. He's going to fire a pass out to the far side of the field. And Brown's looking to pass downfield, and he does. He throws one for the end zone. A number of Elks players there. It's going to be knocked out of bounds by the Elks players, and the game is over. The Elks escape with a 30-26 win over Springfield South. The Elks with a wonderful effort on both sides of the ball. The Elks just giving quite an effort out there on the field tonight, using everything they had, every bit of heart to win this game. As South is just so upset that they lost this one to the Elks. South just standing over on the other side of the field, throwing their helmets on the ground, very, very upset that they let this one slip away to the Elks. The Elks doing a heck of a job tonight, showing a lot of character, sticking with it, and finally pulling away with a win here tonight against South.
Maddie, you know what absolutely amazes me? First people out there on the field to start the huddle were the coaches.
That's right.
I'll tell you what, the coaches were the first ones to greet the guys that knocked down that pass. That's what I like to see. That's the whole entire team together, the coaches leading the pack. Excellent, excellent win by the Elks tonight.
That's right, and on that last play, a number of Elk players there to knock away the pass from Thomas Stevens. So the Elks doing a great job getting a win here tonight. You know, they barely pulled it off, but they did it. And they're walking away winners here, staying undefeated in the WOL, 5-0. And the Elks walking away with a 30-26 win here tonight against the Springfield South Wildcats. From Chip Ray, Adam Kiefaber, Martin McNamara, I'm Matt Kasanovich. You are listening to Centerville Elks football right here on WCWT 101.5, brought to you by